Throughout the years, I was blessed with the chance to attend dozens of metal festivals on several continents around the globe, both massive and local, most of which had their own charm and their own shortcomings. But this year, I think I found a new one, which may soon become one of my favorites. Imperium Festival was the last stop on my Judas Priest Invincible Shield Spanish run, and in all honesty, it was a huge surprise to me personally. Rock Imperium fills a niche of mid-sized summer festivals and actually does so incredibly well for one particular reason. It chooses to differentiate itself from the other ones in its niche and size by concentrating on something different, which many festivals, for some weird and unknown for me reason, deem unimportant. The city festival is held right in the middle of the ancient town of Cartagena in the northern part of Spain, on the grounds of an old fortress, which definitely adds to the ambiance of the festival. Although at the same time, I guess it limits its growth potential simply because it is surrounded by the ancient walls on one side and the sea on the other. So it is always bound to remain at around 15,000 metal fans capacity. Unless, of course, Rock Imperium decides to switch venues, which I honestly hope they don't, because it is, at least partially, its location which makes it so special. Just like most open-air festivals, it has two identical stages located on the main field to be able to keep the music going without the long breaks. But the cool part about it is that unless you are an absolute die-hard fan who wants to stand right there by the barrier, you can perfectly see both stages from pretty much any corner of that field, even if you're a shorty like myself. Unlike on some other venues, the field is quite narrow and long, with a slight natural slope which allows you to see what's going on either of the stages quite well, even without the screens in the middle of the field, which is kind of how you're supposed to enjoy metal shows, in my opinion. And in addition to that, you get a gorgeous view of the mountains on one side and the walls of an old fortress on another, while being a walking distance away from the beach. Not too shabby for a metalhead.
Nice.
In addition to that main field, you get an upper deck third stage, of course significantly smaller in size than the main ones, a food court, and a cozy market with local craft goods and non-profit organizations displays. And that's about it. Yet at the same time, it doesn't feel small for a simple reason that in a matter of minutes, you can be out of the festival grounds and right in the middle of the town of Cartagena with all the restaurants and shops you can imagine. And so this location kind of creates this feeling of a cozy family gathering, which is not too small and not too big at the same time, and gives you just enough space to not feel claustrophobic, but at the same time be able to explore the entire area in just under half an hour while still having a chance to go outside into the city and take a break from the festival itself. When it comes to the lineup, the situation becomes a bit more tricky. The 2024 headliners were Judas Priest, Saxon, Avantasia, and Yngwie Malmsteen, as well as such incredible bands as Extreme, Doros Warlock, Accept, Beast in Black, Love Bites, and many other representatives of this classic heavy metal sound, which on one hand encourages those who decide to go to this festival purchase tickets for all 4 days, but on the other, very much limits the circle of metalheads willing to go for it.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Now, here's the thing, everyone knows how much I love classic heavy metal, so for me it wasn't really a big deal. But at the same time, I do understand that if this festival would like to grow into something bigger, most likely they will kind of have to have a little bit more diversity, simply to be able to invite the different types of metalheads on this ground. And so I'm actually quite happy to see the first announcements for the 2025 edition of the festival, which looks like it's going to be way more diverse, resulting in hopefully more metalheads finding out about Rock Imperium by the 4th year of its existence. Although I guess for me personally, still nothing compares to headbanging to such bands as Iron Maiden or Judas Priest. And by the way guys, it is of course after Judas Priest's appearance at the Rock Imperium Festival this year that together with Rob Halford and Judas Priest we kicked off a new stage of our fundraising campaign for Ukrainian civilians, in which you can win the iconic sunglasses Rob Halford has worn on the 50th anniversary tour, and an alternative cover vinyl record signed by all of the Judas Priest members, including Andy Sneap, and a lot of other presents by simply doing a great thing and donating to save innocent lives. So guys, I would like to encourage each and every one of you to head to one of the links in the description of this video and participate in this amazing raffle. The more you donate, the more chances you have, of course, of winning these amazing prizes. But of course, the most important thing is that you are doing something meaningful and great. And maybe those couple of cups of coffee that you won't drink and donate those money instead will actually save someone's life.
Exactly.
So let's together once again show that heavy metal community is one of the most loving and caring ones out there.
And let's raise some cash. Oh yeah.
I have to be honest with you, I actually have a slight problem with most metal festivals, and especially the ones slightly bigger in size. It's bathrooms. No, seriously, I'm a metalhead and all that, but that doesn't mean that I don't like to pee in a clean surrounded. And bathrooms at most metal festivals, no matter what the country or the size of it is actually one of my biggest nightmares. And so the biggest surprise of the Rock Imperium Festival for me was, and I've officially stated this, it's cleanliness.
Clean? Not just health department clean, Monica clean.
No, seriously, the thing which has been noticed by pretty much everyone I've spoken to at the festival, including the artists and regular attendees, was the amount of cleaning personnel on a relatively small area, which, according to the festival organizer, was a very deliberate choice of his, as he himself is a metalhead who, just like myself, likes a clean surrounding. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but not having to nearly faint from the smell every time you open a bathroom door or sit in a pile of cigarette buns on the ground is, in all honesty, a great selling point. So for this alone, I would like to thank Rock Imperium organizers, Madness Life. One of the things I absolutely love about massive festivals is that many of them by now have become much more than just about music. In fact, I know some people who go to the festivals and rarely even attend the performances themselves, they just hang out by the camp area or one of the entertainment zones. So at first, I was actually a bit worried about what to do at the Rock Imperium Festival for 4 days. And the truth is that the venue itself does not offer much, for a reason that it kind of doesn't have to, since all the attractions and entertainment at Rock Imperium is done outside of the festival grounds, right in the city, as everything from local bars, clubs, art stations, a Roman Colosseum, hike places, or a beach is located within a walking distance from the venue, which you can easily schedule to attend in between the sets of your favorite bands. And while this, of course, is not new for any city festival, maybe because of how immersed it is in the life of the city of Cartagena, this festival somehow feels huge despite not being so. And yet, when you are at the venue itself, you're concentrated on one thing and one thing only: the music. It becomes your safe space, and somehow time absolutely flies when you get there, simply because you don't really miss any performances which start one right after another without you not having to run and get distracted between the stages. No, don't get me wrong, I still love massive festivals like Wacken Open Air, for example. It is still one of my favorite festivals on earth. But this one is actually not a substitute to it at all. In fact, it provides you a completely different type of experience complementary to the one you receive at the massive festival like Wacken. It creates a feeling of a cozy heavy metal family you get to hang out with for 4 days, where after a while you start recognizing familiar faces and both musicians and fans come together, quite literally together, to watch their favorite bands, which makes it quite different from many other festivals. And I truly hope that Madness Live will actually continue cultivating this difference and make an emphasis on its uniqueness in the coming years. As I always considered city festivals being great to attend if you actually live in that city, but I'd never considered traveling to one. In fact, I only ever traveled to massive ones, but in all honesty, and just in case I haven't been paid for this post, but I actually think that Rock Imperium, because of its location and organization, would actually be a perfect travel destination which you can combine even with a family vacation, which I hope I'll be able to do right after Ukraine's victory. But here, I just wanted to find out, what do you guys personally think about city festivals? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching the short video, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!